Veronica. Thank you so much, Doug, and thank you, Christy, for coordinating. I'm so happy to get to be here with you guys and talk a little bit of what I do. It's really cool to see all of you guys being interested and being so active. And what cool studios, man. I wish I had that when I was little or when I was younger. So a little bit what I do, I'm the programming director for both KCRA Channel 3 and My 58. I basically just kind of look at the schedules and decide the new programming, where to air them. I get to decide what cool products, if well, in partnership with my corporate bosses, I get to decide what cool products are in the market and what I can buy and share with Sacramento, Modesto, and Stockton, DMA. I got into television. I was obsessed with TV growing up. I knew I wanted to go into communications. I didn't know what type of programming I wanted to do, whether radio or television. Then I graduated with a degree in communications. I started working opposite of what I wanted to do. I was in economic development, and then found my way to local television. I started working in the sales department of the local news station where I'm from in Orlando, Florida. I realized sales wasn't what I wanted to do, so I explored programming and got into the behind the scenes aspect of programming, which is more of like the business side, contracts, buying and shows, things like that. That was more my cup of tea. I wasn't trying to be in front of a camera, and I'm probably not as creative as a lot of you guys that are on here. So that's how I made it to programming. I've been in Sacramento for going on 5.5 years now. The job brought me out here, which is great. So that's another cool asset about this industry. You get to go anywhere and do it anywhere. So yeah, that's me.
All right, so we're going to move over to Veronica. You're working the business side of TV. So can you kind of give us some background about that and how that all works?
So what a part of what I do is to select some of the new shows. So some of these distributors, studios like ABC, Disney, NBC Universal, Sony, Warner Brothers, they come up with, similar to what you guys are doing, they come up with ideas, they develop them, and they put together a pilot. Sometimes I don't get to see a pilot. Sometimes I go solely on just their vision. Take a look at what they have based on the market need, based on my audience. KCRA is much more of a traditional station. It's a little bit, the way I like to describe it is that it's informative, news, serious. And My 58 is more of my entertainment, fun, relaxed type of shows where I can have more fun with when it comes to programming them. So a lot of the shows that are in development by these distributions, they come to stations like ours, and then they pitch their ideas or they pitch their show and try to sell it to us. So by doing that, they get a little bit creative. Those that don't have a particular pilot already in place, again, they use a lot of, they base it off of their talent, whoever let's say it's a talk show. They provide research talk shows, they talk about similar shows that have been done in the past, like some similarities, and of course how they're so different from those shows that didn't work out before. And yeah, so they present the shows to us along with research, and my job is to kind of just determine if it's a good fit to our station, if it'll work out in the market, if I foresee this type of show being successful. Some of the shows, for example, like last year we launched Kelly Clarkson in Tamara Hall. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with either of those two. I'm sure you're familiar with Kelly Clarkson. So once the show is pitched to us, a lot of these companies, a lot of these studios they invest a lot of money into these products, right? Their goal is to distribute it nationwide and to get some of that return on investments. So on my end, not only am I doing a return on investment on my side, a lot of these products, they need to make sure that depending on how the contracts are, what makes more sense for both parties, for both the studios and the local stations, we determine if there's going to be any cash. So I would either purchase with a licensing fee, or if we split the inventory that goes into the commercial space, the time period part that you guys probably don't like to watch. That's how we kind of get our money back from these shows. And also some of these shows, they make a decision whether they want to be solely on local broadcast stations like ours, or if they'd like to go on to a cable network as well. So I don't know if sometimes you scroll through the channels and you notice like, why is Wendy Williams on a random comedy channel or something like that? It's usually because of the way the contract and how the show was sold to us. So that's kind of like the boring side of how shows are sold. But to put it in perspective, a pilot and even a series such as like Kelly Clarkson's show or Jerry Springer, Maury, any type of these daytime shows that you see, it could cost millions of dollars just to get that out there. So the business part is everything has to make sense. The partnerships with the local television stations, television groups like ours, we're owned by Hearst Television. It all has to kind of make sense to both the distributor and to ourselves to get this to launch. Sometimes we see shows like last year, we got to see a pilot for a RuPaul talk show that doesn't make it. It doesn't get sold. Nobody buys it, or it just doesn't get to make it for air, and they have to start all over from scratch. Then you have shows like the Drew Barrymore show that just launched this year on the CBS station, that we're kind of waiting to see if it's going to make it, if it performs well, to see if they're going to ever get to see what their investment come back to them on that. The cool thing about my job is while they're out there pitching to us and selling to us, we have access to these talents, and we get kind of exposed to the showbiz world, I guess you can say. We get to go to this annual conference. It's called the NAPI, which stands for the National Association of Television Programmers Executives. And not only is it a really cool event to see all the product that's available out there, it's an international event, but also we get to meet talent, we get to see other programmers, we get to go face to face with TV executives, learn of what's coming down the pipeline, what shows are in production, what ideas are being formed. You kind of get a little bit of a head start when it comes to thinking future programming. So right now, for example, I'm already working on my fall 2021 and fall 2022 schedules. So I'm looking at what's coming down the pipeline, what shows could be happening, and you get to schmooze with some of the talents, go to dinners, see some concerts. When Kelly Clarkson came out last year, it was really neat because she came out, she performed for us. So it's kind of neat to be exposed to that and to see some of those folks and build relationships, because that's basically what we're in the business of relationships when it comes to purchasing ideas or purchasing shows. That's the other thing that's kind of important, I guess you can say. And I think that's pretty much it. Again, I based my needs when it comes to when I see a show, I base it on my audience. I base it on the market, what's going on with our competitors, what are they doing over there, and how I can where there is an opportunity for me to get ahead of them. And if I see a really good product or I hear that something really flashy is coming around the corner, I make sure to jump on that quick. So that's part of the other aspect of my show.
We had a quick question, if you don't mind. It was from one of our teachers, I think, is who brings some of these ideas to you? Do you kind of reach out to these artists yourself, or do they come out to you guys with an idea?
No, so we purchase from the distributors themselves. So like Warner Brothers, Disney, ABC Disney, Sony, CBS, those studios, they're the ones that actually formulate and develop these shows. A lot of these shows could be because they build it around a talent. They could already have a talent in mind and they build a show around that. So it's not necessarily that a talent will reach out to a studio and say, hey, I'm interested. It's more like, okay, we have this idea. We think this is missing in the market. We think there's a saturation of this type of, let's say, for example, a talk show host. We've seen this kind of over and over. What would be different? What could stand out? What's the viewership thirsty for? A great example of that was, two examples. Drew Barrymore, she just came out with CBS. Drew Barrymore was actually sitting on the sidelines for a while because she had a contract with Warner Brothers, and they couldn't really figure out how to develop a show with her. Somehow, I don't know, contractually, everything goes behind the scenes. They let her go, and then CBS picked her up and was able to figure it out. Then there's RuPaul, like I mentioned. RuPaul seemed great. The pitch was great, but nobody picked it up. It didn't take. Nobody grasped it. So, or at least the idea wasn't picked up, the concept. So that show didn't make it. So a lot of the talent, yeah, it's not necessarily them reaching out, although I'm sure if you have, it's solely on the idea of the show itself, of what kind of show they want and what talent would fit that concept.